Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. So this is going to be my first ever tutorial, quote tutorial on my channel. And I will let you guys know from the beginning that it's not the best tutorial ever because it's my first one, but you know, I'm still learning how to film myself painting. Every day it's a struggle, like you have no idea, just the angles and everything, but I signed up for it. It's what I want to do. It's what I love to do. So I don't mind. But I know it's very inconvenient for you guys to, if you're trying to follow along and you can't see certain parts. So I do apologize on my behalf for that. Certain colors are not, like when I'm filming like my palette, it's not in frame, or I'm trying to focus on painting, showing you the picture that I'm painting and then showing the palette, so it's complicated. I try to figure out a system that worked, but it's not the best, so I do apologize for that. Also, it is a tutorial, so it's kind of like a guideline. If you want to follow along, you can. I will have links in the description to the traceable that you can download and follow along with me yourself. You can't really follow along with me, but if you do decide to duplicate this painting, it's free, it's up there, so you can have that for your own self. But when you're following along, just use it as a guide to help you figure out placements, because there are good parts in the video where I show you like the exact technique that I'm using and how to get smooth blends, because a lot of people ask me about how to get smooth blends, and I did go over how to do that. It also helps that I am using oil paint and not acrylic paint, because oils obviously takes longer to dry, but acrylics takes, so this is not an acrylic painting tutorial. And I don't bash acrylics. I love acrylic paint. I used acrylic paints for 3 years learning how to paint, but you're gonna get better blends with oils. I am also sorry about the audio quality, because right now I'm using voice memos like in my iPhone to record this voiceover right now, and then when I'm filming and just slowing it down, like the actual talk throughs, I'm using my camera audio, so that's also a discrepancy in sound. So hopefully it sounds better. Hopefully I'll get a mic soon. All this stuff, we're gonna work it out, y'all, just bear with me. But anyway, I am just going to stop talking now and get to the tutorial. I hope this tutorial helps you guys a lot. So just a quick overview, I am using a 9 by 12 inch ampersand pre-primed gesso board, and I'm also showing you guys my grayscale color palette. Then I'll also go in with black and white acrylic paints, and that will be used to make a gray tone for my panel. And I'm just spreading that all over my canvas very lightly, not too much, just enough to, stain the panel and to give it some color instead of that stark white appearance, because this is the exact way that your eyes can adjust better to what colors that you need if you don't paint directly on a white surface. Next, you will see me take some burnt sienna, and I'm going to dilute it with my paint thinner, and I'm just going to mark in very lightly where I need to give the painting some value. It's very light, and it did a very thin layer because I knew if I did a thin layer it would dry quicker, but I'm just using the burnt sienna to give a rough feel as to where I want to put the colors. So this part goes pretty fast, but I immediately started squeezing oil paint from the tube. I went in with Mars Black, Titanium White, Alizarin Crimson, Vandyke Brown, and more Burnt Sienna. So at first I started going in and started painting small sections of the eye, and then I realized that that just didn't work for me. It was way too much detail and way too soon to start painting that way, and I think it makes painting a lot harder when you try to paint that way, just in my opinion. So I started to go in with a more loose approach, like the blocking in stage that a lot of oil painters talk about. It's where you just grab the main colors that you see. But yeah, since this is just the first layer, you don't have to worry about getting the right colors down right now. You're just really trying to fill the canvas or panel with oil paint so you can get down as much color as possible. And then later on, you can start refining it and trying to get that color accuracy and start adding in the details. But you don't want to do that in the beginning stages because you'll frustrate yourself, and oil paint doesn't really work that way. You have to kind of build it up in layers unless you're trying to do alla prima, which I never do because I end up stopping anyway and my oil paints just dry on its own, so it's never alla prima. So after this first stage of blocking in, I waited about maybe a few days, I think like 4 days before I started working on this painting again to do the second layer. And I'd rather prefer it that way so my first layer can fully dry and I don't have to worry about lifting or anything like that. All of these oil paints are Winsor and Newton, except for this one. So I'm just gonna squeeze them out with the tube and we're just gonna go from there. This one's really oily. This one's got a lot of oil in it. Needs to be mixed. And then I'm gonna take the white. Usually take the colors that are closest to each other. You don't want to get your black mixed in with your white and all that stuff. And then just twist the caps back on. And take burnt sienna. This is like really dried up. Let's see if I can do it. This is a very special color to me. It can make pretty much every color that you want. You have to have some burnt sienna with you. And this one is just Vandyke Brown. This one's really old, so we'll see. The oil paint's not old, the tube is just really just busted. And then you've got your, this one is more of an opaque color, so you have to kind of be careful with it and build it up as you go. And the last color is this one. And I'm gonna even say that you could throw in a bonus color. A palette knife. You could take, I usually like to take the small ones. Black is technically not a color. I'm just gonna throw in a little bit of blue to the side because I never put black on my palette. So I'm just gonna start mixing colors and I'm just gonna go and do whatever Feels natural to me. I literally just made burnt sienna a color that looks like burnt sienna when I took that bright ass red color. It just looks nicer when you... I was thinking about buying a glass palette like all the lovely, fantastic people buy. I want to show you guys what I'm looking at. My reference photo. So that is my reference photo. You've got your reds in there, and you've got your, sorry, my iPad's super dirty. You've got this, like this, it's a light pink. I know it looks orange on camera, but it's like a light pink, muted brown pink. And then her eyes, and it's really dark over here, so, and it's really dark down here. There's just no color. The only reddish tones that are in there is by the nose, a little bit over here, and in her cheek. So having some Alizarin Crimson is probably feasible. This color right here is pretty, but it's a little too bright. It's nowhere near in the reference photo at all. That's not how I paint anyway. Let's see. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Oh, that color is really pretty. Like, I don't even know how to describe that color. It is so pretty. I made a lot of it too. Probably gonna have to split that. And I probably don't need this color at all, but I'm just gonna put it in there anyway there's no rhyme or rhythm to what I'm doing. I just put colors in and see if they work. I hope y'all can see. Okay, that is gorgeous. That is gorgeous. I'm telling you, I just kind of mix the colors as I go and find a pretty color that works. And she has a lot of red. I'm gonna make a little bit of a purplish color. Wait, that's why you gotta be careful when you touch that blue, because when you touch that blue, it'll completely change the color completely. So just be careful. I'm gonna go back in with more red. See if I can purple it up a little bit. This color is absolutely brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. Y'all don't even realize it has a little bit of red in there, a lot of bit of blue, and I don't even know how to make this color, but this is exactly what her skin tone looks like. Holy crap. I wonder if I can make it again. Absolutely gorgeous. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna add, because she does have like a deep purplish undertone in there somewhere. So I'm gonna touch the white in there and lighten it up. You can never mix the same color twice. That's why I try to do it twice, because then you can even get an even more closer color to it. This is like a muted brown color. This is gorgeous as well. That will be freaking gorgeous. And we're just gonna mix and mix and mix. No rhyme or rhythm, just mixing. I'm gonna need more Vandyke Brown. Vandyke Brown is like one of the lifesavers in this right now. Like, Vandyke is coming through. So that is, it's hard to see that color. That is nowhere near on my color palette. So I'm just gonna mix some more. We're trying to brown it out a little bit more. Oh my god, that looks perfect. That's the perfect color for the cheek, I think. Just keep mixing it. I'm just gonna mix whatever's left on the palette in. Just go like that and just mix it in. That color is really pretty. Too bad we don't need it. A little bit more red. I think I need a little bit more blue. I never thought I would actually use so much blue, but yes I am. Just a touch there. Move this out of the way a little bit. I'm gonna split it in half. Gorgeous, right? That is like a purplish color. It's not black at all. So I'm gonna try to paint this. So I'm just taking a little bit of paint thinner and I'm touching it and I'm swirling it around and I'm going into my darkest color. Don't do that. I'm looking at my reference photo because that's what we're doing. That's what you do. Try not to get too much paint thinner on your brush because it'll lift the paint. It is so hard to film myself painting. Okay, I got it. I got the hang of it now. Okay, so this part is way darker than what we originally started with. So there's that. And then the color comes up a little bit in here. Get the eyelashes though. I'm just gonna see what I'll do is I'm gonna go in with some white, just plain white on my canvas. Okay, so there's that. And I'm gonna insinuate the lashes. Okay, here's what I'll do. I'll insinuate lashes. Okay, so I'll just, and then when I get ready, I'll just go back over, fix it. They're very light and they almost look white and wispy. But that color that we first started with goes up into there, and it goes up into there. So just keep working on that, and then just keep working your way around those lashes that you drew in, that I drew in. And just keep doing that. That actually almost, that worked. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna take that same color and go down the bridge, this little area here. Hold on, I'm gonna go in with the Vandyke Brown-ish color that we made before. I'm just gonna deepen it right in there. Hold on. You probably can't see what color I'm using, but I'm using that color, this one right here. Okay, cool. I'm just using neighboring colors, and I'm gonna take a little bit of white and a little bit of this color here, and drop it right there. It's very subtle, so I have to mute that out a lot. Okay. So I'm just gonna keep blending that till I get it the way I want it to look. Sure, let's go with that. I think I muted it a little bit too much, but the white is so stark, like you don't even know. All right, I'm gonna move on. And then I'm gonna go back in with this color again. It's almost like a purplish color. Purplish brown color. Okay. I'm gonna need to switch brushes soon, but I don't know when. That is gonna be dropped right in there. I'm not gonna be blending it like heavily right now. I'm just gonna be touching and laying down colors next to each other. And then at the end, I'll feel like when I establish everything, I'll blend things together, but you shouldn't over blend when you're oil painting. I know it's very tempting to do that in the beginning, but you shouldn't. I'm switching brushes now because I can't with this teeny tiny brush, just can't. Sometimes you just have to breathe when you're painting as well, because your eyes can take in a lot of information at once. So it's just a really good idea to remember to breathe. and just paint what you see when you can. Color on here and just do this. Just a little bit of, what is this, Alizarin Crimson, and just kind of touch it on my canvas. Okay, it's very, very rich. I can't be shy with this color because it's very, very on there. So I'm going to come over here. It's probably going to take you a few tries to get it the color that you want. Mix that color in with some white. Just touch it, and then I stop touching it, and then I pull back and I check it as I go, check it as I go. Check it as I go, stop, pull back, check it as I go. Okay, I think that color looks great there. I'm gonna stop it right there. And then I'm going to take some white. And touch it right in there because it's more of a muted color. Drag it up. Kind of let the paintbrush skid on the canvas a little bit. It looks kind of funny, but it'll blend together shortly. And I'm not trying to paint every detail. I'm trying to just get my colors down right now. I need black in there. Took the color that was already on my brush and I just rubbed it in some black. Right. Hold on one second. So this brush is not doing what I want it to do. Just smudging it. Absolutely gorgeous. Yes, it looks insane, I know. White. More white. So I'm just trying to blend the colors in. For some reason it looks blue in the reference photo. So I'm probably gonna have to dry brush over it or fix it now. just tapping that color to blend them in together. Right, so it doesn't get any better than that. I'm gonna do that. So here's the tricky part where you start blending into multiple different colors and you don't want her to look strange. So I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to dry it off. I'm going to dry it off very thoroughly. I'm blurring my eyes, I'm squinting my eyes so I don't take in too much information all at once. I take a dry brush like this, absolutely dry, kind of fluffy. I'm gonna touch and tap that remaining color and push it into the surrounding area like you're putting on makeup. Look how nice, look how subtle that just transitioned. Dry brush, tap, push. tap and push the color into the surrounding area. We're close, but we're not quite there yet, so we're just gonna keep tapping. This is probably gonna be a waste of time because painting never is one easy shot go like that. It's constantly changing. It's constantly pushing and pulling and changing. So I'm just gonna keep going. Add some more color on my brush. There is a spot in here that's just like stark, so I have to be mindful and not lose that spot. And I'm about to lose it if I don't pay attention to my guidelines. So right in here, right in there. It's very, very subtle, so I'm gonna tap, just keep tapping. Keep tapping, tap, 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 tap. I'm gonna there is absolutely no need to rush. Take your time because this part is extremely difficult to blend. You're seeing multiple different hues blending into each other because she has a lot of skin texture on her skin. Beautiful skin texture, mind you. And it just takes a little bit more time to render that kind of detail out. But eventually you will get there. Do not give up at stages like this because these are the make or break points. Not even that, it's just these are the stages that are going to bring your painting together. Don't forget to breathe. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. This is a very beautiful deep skin tone. That's why it's important when we did round one to establish the right colors right off the bat. I'm gonna see how far it comes up. See how far it comes up. See how far it comes up. Look at your reference photo. Look back at your painting. Look at your reference photo. Tap, 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 tap. I think painting faces is hard and challenging, and that's why I love it so much. I'm just stopping, looking at my reference photo, blending. I'm barely touching the surface. I'm barely touching the surface. This is it's like white. It's like a weird transition color here. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm gonna go dip directly into my white. And just tap. Like that. Just tap. Okay, now I'm gonna stop there. Take my brush again. And then I'm gonna drag some colors. I'm just gonna have to dot it because there's a point where you just can't paint anymore. It's just texture. It's just texture at this point. I'm just dotting it, making dots of texture on her skin and praying to God that it turns out okay. It's not freckles, it's just skin texture. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. And it's not just black dots either. It's a little bit of black dots and then it's gray dots and it's, you know. But there is a lot of black dots on it. So just, okay, so guess what? I'll clean my brush again and go in with a different color that's not black. I'm going in with that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 9th color that I mixed, that color. That's what I'm doing. I'm kind of making like little zigzag shapes. Usually I don't do details until the very end, but I'm kind of strapped on time, so. And if I don't, you know, do this, I'm gonna feel demotivated to come back. I just kind of want to knock it out. Remember to breathe, y'all. Remember to breathe. This is the kind of paintings that take so much time. They take so much time. And you cannot rush these things if you want to do it perfectly. If you want to do it accurately, I would say, more accurately instead of perfectly. There's no such thing as perfect. It's all about how you interpret your image. There is white in this, I see. I'm gonna stop talking because this is tedious. I am barely touching my canvas right now. This is what happens when you don't clean your brush.